Hello and welcome to Nova Scotia. Welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley. It's early morning here in beautiful Nova Scotia. Not so beautiful sky today. We've got a bit of a grey day. I think we've got a few grey days and a bit of drizzle coming up. But we've had some beautiful sunshine and all the different plants around the garden have been welcoming that sunshine, growing strongly. And at the weekend I thought I should add, I'm going in a bit of a mid-season lull in some of the different parts of my garden, so that triggered me into thinking, hang on, why don't I pop down the garden centre and see what they got there, see if I can add some colour to the different borders. So I bought a few different plants, and I bought a rose which I've planted up already. But what I wanted to talk to you this morning about was herbaceous perennials, and how a trip to the garden centre and a few little things afterwards can save you loads of money and increase your plant stock. And this is something you should always do, I feel, after you've been to the garden centre. So when I went there, I got a herbaceous Daring Deception. If you can see there, beautiful looking daylily. I love the daylilies. Obviously they only flower for one particular day at a time, but profusion of flowers all the way through their flowering period. A beautiful addition to my border. Now, oh, mosquito. As we can see, there are three different separate bits of actual growing there. The stems have been attacked by a squadron of mosquitoes. Anyway, as this is a herbaceous perennial, those three different separate growing bits are potentially different plants. So I've potentially got three different plants here, and all I have to do is cut down to make sure I get a good piece of growing green and a nice bit of root in there, and I'll plant them up and I'll have three different plants. Now this plant cost me $14.99, which is I always feel a bit expensive, but there you go. But if I've got three of these, then all of a sudden they're only a $5 each. So that is a definite bargain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in three. Now this always looks a bit brutal, but in fact when your plants get a little bit older, it's actually a good idea to revitalise them this way anyway. So there we go, look at that. I've cut that one off there and it's got a nice piece of root in there. So that's nice and strong. It's got a nice flower on there. Now, all I've got to do is plant that up. I'm going to do that in a minute. Give it a good water, and I've also obviously given this a good water beforehand. And that should do quite well. Just give it a good water over the next few days and it will do fine. Now, do I want to cut another one or not? I think I do. So let's give this a good going over. Right. Got to be careful here, these are quite close. Right, so I think I've done that successfully as well. There's a nice bit of root on that one, and obviously a nice bit of root on that one. So there we go. Now I've got three plants, so all I've got to do is plant these three up and they'll soon fill out next year and still flower this year. I think that is a definite bargain. So that is the daylilies. you know, and if you want to look after it, just and keep it in the pot, obviously just pot it up with the compost. But we'll look on another one, and I've got another plant here, Stachys moniera, Hermello. Beautiful looking plant this, and the bees have been loving it over the last day or so. Obviously I didn't just go to the garden centre this morning because it's only 7 o'clock, but I did it yesterday, and if I hadn't have been filming I'd have done this straight away. So same sort of thing here. Okay, so same sort of thing here. I was just trying to locate a nice easy point where I can split them. Often easy just to get in there straight off with the So there we go. Same thing again. A nice bit of root area there. Now I'm going to leave this in two. I could split this again, but what I want to do is I want to make sure, I've not had these plants before, so I want to make sure they still live. But there we go. There's two of them. Now what I really should do is cut these off. Cut the flowers off so that the plant gets back into just putting all its effort into the actual plant itself and growing the roots again, rather than in the flower, which is what I'm going to do if I had some secateurs. So, just cut these flowers all the way back. Now you might say that's all a bit brutal. What's the point of buying a plant if you haven't got the flower on it? But I've got this and this one, and again that was $12 for the plant, so now I've got these for two plants for $6 each, or maybe $9 and $3, whatever way you want to think of it. But now I've got two plants for the price of one. So, and I can use the flowers. This morning I'll make up a nice little bouquet with these and a few other flowers around the garden. But there we go. Just thought I'd show you that. A nice easy way of increasing your flowers and your different plants when you've been to the garden centre. No point in, you know, paying a load of money for just one plant when you can have a couple of plants, and within a couple of years they'll be nice and big anyway. So, job's a good one.